I had to convince myself that I was that person. I had to show confidence. I had to be comfortable saying to people that no one on this planet is going to take care of them better than I will when it comes to buying or selling a house. I'm addicted to real estate.
I keep it real and stay flipping keys, no wait. Eating good, I got a lot on my plate, but this is what I wanted, so I can't complain.
The Minority Reports podcast, where we keep it real, estate, and entrepreneurship education for the minority of 3% action takers. Here's your host, Billy the Kid, and co-host, Dan Delgado.
You like that? That's charged.
That was a good one, yeah. You've been slacking for a while.
He said, that was a good one.
I approve of that one.
Thanks for your feedback, bro.
Yeah.
Can't wait. So this episode, and before we get going, I know on the last episode, we said we got to do better on the intro. So it's Billy the Kid, your host for the Minority Report with... Oh, he's drinking.
With Ice Mountain water. Dan Delgado.
Dan Delgado. And we are in Omaha today. Can't wait to dive into this episode.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good one.
Amazing. But this one should be coming out in January. So before we get going, once again, let me back up. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel, the Minority Report podcast. We're doing big things 2022. But we want to get our subscribers up. And I think we talked about it on the other one. Make sure you drop us some comments or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. Follow us. We got some major great things coming up, some mindset, real estate, entrepreneurship. So we're excited. It is 2022 now that they're watching it, if you think about it.
And this will air end of January. We're a couple days from Christmas.
Yes. So
how them tamales turn out?
Man, you still...
I gotta come get them. Yeah, no, dude.
I hope we still got...
Oh my God, I'm gonna kill you. I saw your wife posted, making them. I'm like, oh God, I hope.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Her grandma came over. This is the second time she does them.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're pretty good. She cooks pretty well, so they're pretty good. I can't complain.
Cooks pretty. You're like, man, she cooks okay. An old Mexican mom, like she's gonna have some bomb food.
She gets down in the kitchen for sure. But what do you got going on, man? What's new?
Dude, I've been busy, man. My side businesses have been like really taking off. I was just telling you, I was like, I just like all this stuff. Like I never look at my bank account. I'm like, oh damn, like what happened?
Nice.
that's
Especially
a good
right now.
I know, right? No. Yeah, man, just getting ready for the holidays, and we're actually doing, since I'm divorced, I have my daughter tonight, so we're doing like our little Christmas thing tonight, and then, so that'll be fun. But yeah. What about you?
Yeah, Christmas tomorrow with the fam. Tomorrow's the 24th. We celebrate on the 24th. Yeah. So we have lunch with my side, and then in the evening we're going to her. And then just chill. The 25th is usually just us, me, my wife, and the girls. But other than that, just pushing, man. Just to comment on that, it's so nice when that happens. That's the like when they say make money while you're sleeping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually, my deposit for some reason for my music was really nice a couple weeks ago. Like literally.
Was it like after your Bigger Pockets thing? Maybe people saw it.
No, but what's crazy is there was one streaming company that honestly I can't even remember the name. I don't know if they just pay yearly or what, but it was that came through with like, it was a nice, I woke up and I'm like, ooh, okay. And I think one of the books showed up. Somebody from California ordered my book, so it was like, that's I woke up to that, so that was cool. Awesome. Just waking up to, like they say, make money while you're sleeping, and obviously, especially loving what you do. Which I brought a copy of The Power of Being Uncomfortable just to show it to the camera. This episode will be out by January, so this came out.
Okay, let's be Augustine.
Jesus. January 3rd, baby. The Power of Being Uncomfortable. It is out.
Well, it'll be out by then. By the time
cool.
this comes.
I don't know. We probably talked about it already, but it was on Target at Walmart.com.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Walmart.com has it. I made it, bro.
It's not Walmart. You made
it. So yeah, Power of Being Uncomfortable. The audiobook also. I just submitted the last piece last night. So the people that have listened to it is kind of what we talked about. They were like, dude, it was fun and motivational is what I keep hearing.
No, it's definitely not like, bro, droning along. Like, you got some passion.
So I'm excited for that. But also, man, I brought you your gift for Christmas.
What?
Here you go. I wanted to do it
Thanks, man.
on camera, hold you accountable.
Upstream.
So I better hear about this book.
Problems before they happen. Why this?
I think the title.
He just found it.
Yeah, the title. I got me a copy too, so maybe we could read it together or something and hold hands while we read it.
Actually, so I just posted today like our rundown of our books that we covered last year, and in the comments, someone suggested a book club. So like, hey, let's do a Minority Report book club.
Dude, I've been thinking about that. I think
we talked about it.
We
talked about a lot of stuff that we don't do. I was talking to.
Oh, we do slowly but surely.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta.
Action takers, about 3%. We probably need to listen to our podcast.
I love actually like books are probably one of my favorite gifts.
Yeah, I was gonna wrap it up, but
my in-laws always ask like, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas?" And every year I'm like, here's my wish list for my book from Barnes and Noble and or whiskey. Like, that's all I want.
Yeah, I love that. You can't go wrong with either of those two.
So what do you got for book of the week?
So today, since I won't say anyways, today's book of the week. Is, and I'll keep it pretty simple. Let me look it up here. I have some notes. So the name of the book is
Doesn't even remember.
Let me Google it real quick. Top 25 books. 23 Crucial Points to Guarantee Success in Real Estate by Van Deep.
Isn't he our guest today?
Dude, that'd be if we could get that, man. If we could get him,
he's got some.
We should probably look into that for 2022.
All right,
see if that's. But so the book is tailored. I think what I got out of it is more like sales for agents, for real estate agents. But I think it is tailored for agents. But I think anyone can benefit from a lot of the points that he brings up. So again, 23 crucial points. Again, we won't go over all of them, but there's a few as far as like invest at least 15 minutes to learn. It's crucial, right? Like that.
That's not a lot.
And that, but even that piece, it's like if you could at least do that.
Exactly, yeah. Because then it's just gonna grow from there.
Yeah, and it's easier to do 15 minutes than say, okay, I'm gonna read for an hour once a week. Because it happens once a week if you don't create that habit. Right. So, also one that I loved was join like-minded people. So
we're big on that. We always talk about like how many friends we've lost.
Through 2021, see ya.
Well, not like friends we lost, but like there's just people that kind of fall out of your circle, and
man,
it's just what happens.
It's that gap, man. You got to keep growing, and you can't lift them up unless they want to. Right. We're obviously all for it, but and then under promise, over deliver. That was another one. Reassure your customer. So again, for agents, and then never stop developing your sales skills. So again, I won't go into detail with all 23, but those were some.
Get the book.
Yep, get the book. So, but yeah, who do we have today, man? Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's bring him in. Woo! We're back.
If you don't know, that's a horn that he does. If you haven't watched our stuff.
Did you just jump right
now? He's like, whoa, what just happened?
I'm like, I want to trademark that sound.
I do too, huh?
Yeah.
No.
Next thing you know, Van Deep owns it.
I know, right?
Man, so we are with the myth and legend from Omaha, Van Deep. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm very honored to be on your podcast.
Oh, we're honored to have you.
We're honored to have you.
Both of you.
We're so excited to get to it.
We heard him speak at a meetup. I'm like, we gotta get that guy on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. And then like I did your book of the week. So
thank you for that.
The power of asking. I still need to get on that one. That's one that caught my attention right after the one that I read. So, and actually, you were my first book swap for the book, The Power of Being Uncomfortable.
Yeah. And that's an awesome book, The Power of Being Uncomfortable. That's an awesome book. So thank you. I get to have you guys on my podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm looking forward to that too. I don't know if I'm as fancy and as cool as you guys, though.
This is basic, man.
You guys are giving me. I'm gonna have to step up my game when
I'll help you out
when I have you guys with me.
There you go. No, yeah, we've talked a little bit off camera. Yeah. We'd love to, so we definitely can talk.
Now I still have a fax machine, so that's how old I
am. At least you didn't say beeper.
Yeah.
That'd be OG, man.
I don't have a fax machine. I don't even think I knew how to use it when I did have it. So
well, it was cool. Even on your iPhone, you could actually scan items now.
Documents
like
now.
It's so crazy, and it comes out pretty crisp.
I've got an app called Genius Scan, and I'm using it until they start
I've
charging
heard that,
me.
Yeah.
But it is super cool if you're somewhere that there's a signed document that you want to get somewhere. It's awesome.
Okay, you just said it's cheap. So before we started recording, we were talking about being frugal. Yeah, can you talk about that? What was the question?
Well, so where are we?
in a title company.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
it's
at DRI Title. It's called it's like Title Nation. They have several title companies here.
So when I was setting up, I was like, man, this is a nice office, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought it was like your office. He's like, no, I just use it. And I'm just like, what's behind that?
Yeah.
So can you like tell us about the arrangement you have there?
So, I used to have my office building. I sold it a couple of years ago. It was just down the street. And when I sold DEEB Realty, which is now called Nebraska Realty, I was supposed to retire. And that lasted about 30 minutes. And so I opened up Big Omaha Realty 11 years ago. And I loved doing my closings here. And they said, hey, you can use our place whenever you want. Now, that's not just me. They have EXP Realty, a bunch of people. If you do business with them, they want you to utilize their facilities. So I was like, dude, I go, hey, I'll do that all day long. But, I have based so many things in my life off being frugal. Mm-hmm. I still only have one credit card. I just, we work hard, and a lot of people that I mentor and that I coach, they're like, hey, I just opened up my own business. I'm going to go lease a new BMW.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, dude, that's not how you make it. Don't be one of the 86% that don't make it past your first year. It's frugality, and it's easy. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Now, I got kind of a little over the top when you go to Costco for lunch.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
What are the samples?
People say, so can I take you to lunch? No, actually, I'm going to go to Costco. I think
Whole Foods is a good option too.
Actually, and their stuff is good. Like even Sam's Club, like their pizza.
Yeah, I know it. But people were making fun of me for a while there because, like, even Hy-Vee used to have samples all the time.
Yeah.
And people would catch me back. but
I love that though, Van. I want to say that I love that because I'm huge on that too.
Yeah.
Honestly, here's the crazy thing, and I think I've talked to you about it. Even I do music, right? So my studio equipment that I have is honestly the equipment I've had since I started. And honestly, I could probably upgrade the computer. I could probably upgrade my software, but it's that frugality mindset.
It still works.
It's getting my music done. It's getting my stuff done. I built a studio around it, or the actual room. But every company that I've done, even like my construction, crazy story. When I started my construction company, I used to drive a little Civic. I used to carry material that would stick out of my window, until I got my truck now. But it took that many years. Same with real estate. Now I'm able to invest a little more in these houses now that I'm. So I love that mindset because I think if everybody practiced that, I think you could get far.
I think you can too. And I think, when you spend that kind of money, I'm thinking rental property. I would rather put those dollars and cents and pennies towards a rental property than on something that's not going to bring me any return. And that's how I looked at pretty much everything, is what kind of return am I going to get off this? And it's not just with material things. Mm-hmm. If I go to lunch with you for 2 hours, what kind of return am I going to get when I should only go for an hour? I should be working that other hour. Mm-hmm. So it's a mindset. It's a winning mindset.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's not something you need you need to be a PhD or some, I think you probably have heard me say I brag that I'm a really smart D- student. Yeah. But a lot of things is just common sense. I don't want to be 80 and I'm still trying to look for my next buck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And and you put that kind of pressure on yourself. You know?
It also reminds me of Walmart's, what's his name, Sam. Yeah. When he started it, on his book, he talked about how he was already a multimillionaire and he would still pick up pennies. And I still do that. I mean, I'm the Sam of Lincoln. Well, I still do that because it's also respect. It's also respect of money. Yeah. I'm big on respect of money. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying you guys still do have little side hustles because I gave you crap about it. What was it? I think he was like renting out party furniture. Yeah,
chairs and tables.
Renting out chairs and tables to a party. I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like,
but guess what? Those 60, 80 bucks bought me a nice dinner. That week.
It's really funny you said that because I still. To this day, if I see a penny on the ground coming out of the gas station, I don't care who's watching me. Mm-hmm. I get a thrill out of it. And then I used to take this big jar. If I went to the store and something was 98 cents, or let's say something was $1.03, and I had the 3 cents, I'd give him $2 because I wanted the change. I collected change.
Oh, yeah.
And then every 2 months, I'd play a game with myself. I'd go, that's back when banks didn't mind counting
Yeah,
all the
now they do.
I think there's only one in town that does so.
So I bet you're like me. I won't pay for that machine that they have now.
Heck no. You counted for
Yeah.
me. But I used to really enjoy is I would guess, and every 2 months I'd always have about $100, $120. And even though it's not a lot of money, it's the fact that you saved it. It's the mindset. Then all of a sudden that $120 one day becomes millions.
Love that.
It just does.
And that was my next question. How have you used that to get to where you're at?
So I'm just going to tell you some things, not to impress you, but to impress upon you, because I'm just a regular guy that likes to work. I learned discipline. I come from a family that's all teachers. That's why I'm so high on educators. I think they should be I think teachers should be the highest paid profession on the planet. And I still don't understand why that's not being recognized, because they should be. But my family was all teachers, and the majority of them, and nobody in business. And so, we never went out to eat. And I grew up on 49th and Fort in Omaha. And I didn't know we didn't have money because we were loved.
Yeah.
We had a lot of love. And so
that.
you don't know that that you don't have a lot of money. And so, I knew I wanted to be successful, but so I always, thought about what would it like to be a millionaire? What would that mean to be a millionaire? Now, this is the dumb way to do it. Okay, I'm just telling you. And I'm only bringing this up about my personal because I want to encourage others that anything is possible. So I opened up a savings account. I started everything, every time I could save money, I started saving. This might be it starting in my low 20s. And I kept saving and I kept saving and I kept saving. And every time I'd make a ledger in my savings account, it'd get me excited. Now, this is going to sound crazy because even my account was like, you could have quadrupled this if you were halfway smart. And this is, I was still buying real estate, but I kept doing it and doing it. And that one day in my low 30s, when I got to write when I made a deposit after saving pennies, picking up pennies like you did, or like you do, and I got to write 1, 0, 0, 0,
Man.
0, 0, 0. I was 32 years old. I'll never forget. I didn't jump up and down. I may have drank a pretty decent amount of Jack Daniels because I did celebrate, because it was a goal of mine. I wanted to touch and feel what did that look like to see.
Yeah.
I saved, but like I said, I hope nobody does that. I hope they use that kind of mindset to save, but if you buy real estate or invest it, you probably could have done
Double, quadruple.
times that. But it was the mindset that was my. So that's why when I tell people, if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it, which is something Napoleon Hill said in his book Think and Grow Rich. I really, truly believe, because I've lived it. I've visualized it. I've believed it. I've conceived it. And then what's next? It's achieving it. But it's all possible, but there's so many components that go into that. Be around like-minded people. You know what I mean?
That's part of your book.
Yeah,
I talked about it earlier.
hang out with entrepreneurs like the two of you and people that are like-minded. Be smart. If you've got a 7:00 meeting in the morning, don't stay out till 6:30. You know what I mean? It's just making sure that you're not your own worst enemy.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Because I grew up, I was my brothers and sisters are all, hello there, how are you today? They're all really straightforward and professional. And then there's me, non-conforming, rebellious, please stay out of prison. I just was not this conforming human. I was the youngest of 5, and I don't know if they forgot they had a 5th one. But, usually people have goals and they're like, we want our kids to be this, we want to be that. With me, they said, we just don't want them to die. So, it wasn't that bad, but I was non-conforming and rebellious, and you got to kind of teach yourself of you know.
I love that. Love it. And real quick, I mean, we started
got into
that
it, man.
episode
Yeah,
right
wow.
away.
Yeah.
I love it. This is, I love this whole mindset stuff. But if we take it back real quick, if you give us a quick, before we get into more stuff, what's your quick bio of where you from, where you started? Because I know you left to Dallas. So if you could run down that and then the company that you funded in Omaha.
Sure.
And then we'll go from there.
Okay, I'll give you the...
Just fast.
I'll give you the... It was fun.
There you go.
Yeah. I'll get it down. I'll get it down.
That was good.
That was pretty good.
Might have to have you do it
I'm going to
every
practice
episode.
that. I'm going to annoy everybody on the holidays and do it nonstop.
There you go.
That works because he annoys me with it.
Right on. So, you know,
Actually, you're my coach. You're my horn coach. Every time I do it, I'm
I'm
like,
the
what do you
critic,
think?
not the coach.
Oh, yeah, critic. There
That's
you go.
how we learn.
It's true.
We need
That
critics that care
criticism,
about
right?
us.
There you go, yeah.
Positive criticism.
Constructive criticism
There you
go.
totally rules. It really does. So I'm from Omaha. I went to UNO. I played football there. You wouldn't have heard of me because I was not good. But I grew up here, so I was like, I want to get out of town. So I've never really been anywhere. So I drove to Dallas, Texas when I was 23 years old and got a job laying sod. Immediately, and there's a long story there about, I got there and the next day I found a job. But then I saw a guy that went to my high school in Omaha. He was 2 years ahead of me, and he was driving a really cool car. Mine didn't go over 40. Mine literally did not go over 40. I mean, I didn't have any money, and so that's why I had to start working immediately. And I said, what do you do? He goes, I'm in real estate. And I was like, I want to be in real estate. And so, I got into real estate down there. I became addicted. I wanted to work 24/7. I fell in love with it. But, I got into real estate. When you get into real estate, they tell you to call up everybody you know and work your sphere. That's what we tell all agents. I knew no one. So that made me better because I had to do everything organic. I had to go introduce myself. I had to get out of my comfort zone. Like your book, I had to do things I'm not comfortable with. Here you go. Right here, baby.
There you go.
This is the real deal. But I had to get out of my comfort zone. And all of a sudden, great things started happening to me. I started, I started getting awards from my company. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, all these great things are happening. So, and then, after my 10th year, I was kind of on easy street. It was crazy. I mean, I took out billboards. If you went to the movie theaters in Dallas, Texas, I'm on the screen before the movie started. I mean, I really, from not knowing anybody, then all of a sudden, bam, I go to a grocery store. Oh, you're the real estate guy. So my business was on automatic pilot. And then for family reasons, it was in the early 90s. I moved back home to Omaha, Nebraska. And I went to work for another company, real estate company, great firm, one of the biggest firms in Omaha. My philosophy and theirs were not the same. I stayed with them for 6 months. We parted greatly. And
how big did you grow it up to though?
With my company?
Yeah.
So I started mine out of my basement, and in 15 years we had 350 agents.
Wow.
And recognized as the largest independent real estate firm in the Midwest. I had a lot of naysayers, and those same naysayers are the ones that are wanting to buy you out after 10 years. But then they all came into my camp. People, here's the new guy in town, But then I got to work my sphere. Guys I went to grade school, junior high, high school,
Now
college.
you knew people, yeah.
Now I know people here, and it was so. That's kind of my story, and then. With how I started the company, and then I groomed a guy that started with me answering telephones, and my kind of guy got there early to work, stayed late, and then promoted him to assistant manager, general manager, and then I sold him the company, and now
So he took over it then.
He took it over, and I had some of the big boys, Berkshire Hathaway, I'll name for one, wanted to buy me, and it was a very nice offer, but part of the deal was I had to stay on for like a 2-year period. And part of my pay, part of them paying me for my company was in blocks. I get a chunk now, a chunk after 6 months. And if people left, Like if I came back and said, hey, everybody, we're all going to be Berkshire Hathaway and 20, you know, and 15 or 20% said, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
My income goes down.
Yeah.
So selling my company in-house for full value was a dream come true. And nobody left because they all knew him. They all loved him. And Andy Alloway, great human being.
Now, was that that transition? Was that like succession planning part of your plan, or did it just work out?
You know, we had talked about it. Andy was ready to own his own company, and he came into me one day and said, "I'm ready to do my own thing." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good." I called him later that day, and I said, "How about buying this company?" He goes, "Sounds good." And I said, "Put your numbers together." We met the next morning at 7 a.m. at Summer Kitchen on 132nd Maple, and kind of chicken scratched it out and made me an offer. And he was going to give me a really big down payment that he probably had to go get a loan for. And the guy earned his wings. He was so awesome for those 10 years. I said, I'll finance you 100%. So I 100% financed.
That's a deal of a century.
On over 7 figures. But I did it because he earned it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guy earned that, not to have to go out and find finance.
And what did he do with that after?
He ended up, I mean, he's still growing like a weed.
Yeah.
They're opening up locations all over the state.
Yeah. Did we mention the name?
Nebraska Realty.
Nebraska Realty. So,
yeah, and he is, Andy Alloway owns that. And he's a dream come true when I had DEEB Realty and our staff and the entire staff, Christy and all of them, they're still there.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
I know.
It's a family.
That.
It's a culture.
Yeah.
And these other real estate companies, there's great real estate companies in Omaha. There's great ones, but nobody had the culture we did.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody did. And that's people first. So we treated everybody like they owned the company. And so here's my philosophy. And that's why we did so well. The philosophy we had is we treated the agents like they were our customers. Well, if you do that, you're going to bat 1,000. Because you know you're going to treat your customer like gold or they're not going to do business with you.
Yeah.
So our philosophy is treat our agents like they're our customers, and then they're going to be the happiest people on earth. So if somebody said jump, I said how high. And that's really how I feel.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
when we heard you speak, you'd mentioned something about treat people like they walk on water.
yeah.
Can you speak to it a little bit?
You know, I say walk on water. I probably should just leave that for Jesus and not, But
it is that time of year. So.
Yeah, right on. But really, I'll tell you, when I use the phrase "treat them like they walk on water," what I really am trying to get across is we got to treat people like they matter. You know, we don't know what people's home lives are like. We don't know what their financial situation is. We don't know if they've got abusive spouses, families, and things aren't well. But we do know when they're at work, we have the ability to treat them the very best we possibly can. And so my thing is when they come to work or when we're doing business with them, we want them to know how important they are because it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And with your story, one thing that I heard was they wanted you to come with when you sold your where you were looking at selling your company.
Yep.
I feel like that's huge. We've talked about it on our podcast before where it's like making your businesses like a franchise model.
Yep.
And, you know, because if you think of like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, for example, you think of Robert
Scalable.
Kiyosaki right away. So it's like if they wanted to scale that company to sell it, it's like, is Robert going to come with it, you know, or,
Right.
And there's other companies. So I love how that kind of, it just reminded me of that. And if you were to choose one thing that's like your biggest success factor, what was that thing to get to where you're at now?
I would say confidence.
Okay.
I would say whatever confidence I didn't have, I did everything in my power to learn. Because here's the deal. There's so many great people out there that are in careers that aren't bringing out their best. And people are lacking the ability to, that's why I wrote that book, The Power of Asking.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest reason for writing that is, and you know, my books are not bestsellers. They're just, I use them for when I'm doing speaking gigs, stuff like that. And I've I hope people enjoy them.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
hear
sure,
people enjoy them. And a lot
yeah.
of people will send me emails saying, "Hey, this got me the deal," because I did what you said, which makes me feel really good. But we don't ask enough, and confident people ask for everything. So we've got to learn not only to be more confident. So to answer your question and to not go off to 10 hours of dialogue.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead.
But I would say the one thing is when I became confident, which I wasn't always a confident person. I was always a hard worker. I was disciplined. I knew that nothing is going to happen to me unless I make it happen. I've taken failures and really dissected them so I don't do it again. But I believe we're all on a level playing field. It's just some people are more confident and some people work harder than others. But when I developed confidence, it really was my game changer.
Yeah.
So today on my Instagram, I posted this, I'll call it meme. And basically it said, "Can I be real with you for a second?" And then it says, "You need to come to terms with how dope you are as a person and a soul. Admit it. Stop pretending you're less than what you are to protect everyone else's ego."
I love that.
And it hit me because, and I think it hits that be around like-minded people, all that, because what I've noticed is the times that I've kind of grown that gap to the next level and only certain people have came with me when that growth happens, the people that didn't make it to that next level of my life, it's like they were holding me back, and I feel more confident after that.
Yeah.
So
it's everything you just said is so true. It is so true. And here's how I look at it. We only get one shot in this form on this earth. I believe in heaven. I believe we're going to have the best is yet to come for all of us. But while we're here, if you think about it, why not be like the best?
Yeah.
Why not be the best at what you do? I mean, why not at least try and be the best? So I had to convince myself that I was that person. I had to show confidence. I had to be comfortable saying to people that no one on this planet is going to take care of them better than I will when it comes to buying or selling a house. I'm addicted to real estate. I can't get out of it. I mean,
Obviously.
Yeah, same here.
yeah, it's my 38th year. I just sold a house. And here's the thing. If I sell 10 houses a year, I'm thrilled because it makes me a better speaker. So I don't want to ever be, I'm coast to coast training people. I'm Fortune 500 companies, Union Pacific, Aflac, Keller Williams sent me all over to speak to their agents. But I don't want to be one of these speakers to say, yeah, 20 years ago when I was in business, I want to be able to look at you and you give me a challenge, let's say after a speech or something, and you say, I got this customer, what would you do? I want to be able to say, I had a customer just like that 2 weeks ago. Let me tell you how I handled it. I mean, so I'm doing the real estate as my vehicle. And I listed a house over in Bellevue that was a fix-up for $150. I offered him $120, and he said no. I said, okay, let me sell it for you.
Either way, you win. I love that.
Yeah, but we got four offers. Anyway, long story short, it was I listed it. 9 days later, we closed it. All cash, quick close. But I got as excited on that sale as I did when I sold $1 million homes. That's when you love what you do. And I think real estate is an avenue for, anybody and everybody with drive, desire, and determination. And the last but not least is discipline. If you're disciplined enough where you can go to a stranger and say, hey, if you ever want to buy or sell a house, I would love to work with you. You know what I mean?
I'll take that.
Yeah. Do you want to buy, sell a house?
I love that. And what's crazy is what I love about your story is that it seems like you've graduated to that next level of now you're giving back, you're changing people's lives by even this podcast. You know, once again, thank you for being on it.
I'm honored.
Just changing people's lives, and I feel like once you get that's like that level, right, that everybody should reach. I think, and that's what I love about you is that you did what you did, you're doing what you know, but you get now you're changing people's lives. So I love that. If you don't mind sharing, what does your portfolio look like nowadays? Now that you're at that level,
it's not what you would think. I've been slowly selling my rentals.
Yeah.
I'm trying to live a life of passion.
Yeah.
And if I'm not passionate about it, guess what? I'm not going to enjoy it. So I started out. I made a lot of mistakes. I bought homes that didn't generate as much income as I'd like, and they were maintenance issues, and I learned from that. So about maybe 15 years ago, I made a promise to myself, I'm only going to buy homes in HOAs because I want to eliminate the issues.
Oh, the maintenance, that's smart.
Yeah, and so I'm a big fan of celebrity homes. And because they build a lot in nice neighborhoods with HOA. So I'm paying $140 a month, yard care, snow removal.
I love that.
That's what I pay for just snow removal.
I love that.
And so it's pretty cool. So it eliminates, anytime you can eliminate the negative, it's going to make everything else more enjoyable. Now, I got a phone call yesterday. Microwave went out. With this storm we had a week ago, gutters came detached from the house. So these are stuff that you just deal with. But so I'm down, I'm down a lot farther than I was, and it's mostly because I'm reinvesting into REITs and multifamily. And so I manage all my own stuff.
I was just going to ask, are you managing your own stuff?
That's awesome.
Why
I love that.
Let me just tell you why, because who's going to work harder than you?
Sure.
And I sit down with my tenants and I tell them, you will never have a landlord that's going to treat you better than I will. I don't want you to make this your house. I want you to make this your home. You want to paint Cindy's room pink and Johnny's room blue? All good. I said, I'll be the greatest landlord that you've ever had, but I expect you to treat me the same. Yeah. And I said, I don't want to bug you. All I'm asking you to do is take care of the place and pay me on time.
Yeah.
And I say, those are my only thing is don't make me chase what you're supposed to do. And it's worked really, really well.
I love that. Love it. And where you're at in life right now, if somebody that's listening out there, let's say they have not started doing anything in life, what would be like 3 pointers that you would give them to get to where you're at? And again, they have nothing right now. Their bank account is probably negative.
Well, first of all, you've got to do what you have to do to feed yourself. So I waited tables. I waited tables at restaurants. And when I say restaurants, that's with an S. A lot of them. For some reason, they look down on people that eat the food without paying for it. I'm kind of being silly, but anyway. So I had to feed myself.
Yeah.
So I worked at restaurants while I was building my career. So first of all, find something that you can pay your bills, because there's nothing worse than trying to make changes in your life and where your mind isn't completely in it. So I didn't have any money, but I made enough to pay my bills so I could concentrate on doing this part-time, and then eventually I did it full-time. Put things in writing. If I was starting all over again, which I've always been big on goal setting, put things in writing and live by what you expect out of yourself. But I tell you what most people don't realize, it's not just getting into business. You've got to make personal changes. And so, and this is more than 3 things. This is a lot more than that.
Oh, yeah.
But you've got to surround yourself with the right people. And, I don't mean to, it sounds brutal when you say the right people, but people that maybe they're not out to make millions and millions of dollars, but at least they're not negative.
Yes.
Some of my best friends have no interest at all in making money. I have great friends that have no interest at all in making money, but they're good human beings, and I want them in my camp. I want them as my buddies, you know. But if you're lucky enough to surround yourself around people that are like-minded, and so first thing I would tell people is find like-minded people is what I would do, and then be relentless in pursuing what you want to pursue. You know, when I put the numbers together, when I got in real estate, and I'm like, wow, I could be pretty darn successful at this. This could do a lot of great things for me. So I visualized a lot. I know, you know, that's probably not going to be something that someone's going to say when you say, what are the 3 things that they should do? But I believe in the power of visualization. I just do, because it works. Mm-hmm. So when I say that, I mean, you know, stop, turn off the noise, turn off your phone, ask the kids to leave you alone, go in a room by yourself, whatever, and visualize where you want to be next month, in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years. Where do you see you and your family? And then when you do that, write it down and read it every day, what you expect out of yourself. You know, I used to doodle 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 on anything when I had a pen. I don't care where, because I never paid attention when I was in classes. I would just.
I love that.
That was and I've got the grades to prove it.
Yeah. But also the numbers that you do.
But
so it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. But so it's passion, and don't be afraid to share them with people. Don't we all want to work with people that are passionate about what they're trying to tell you? Like, you know, in real estate, I'm going to use it for an example because that's really all I have is besides speaking. But when I can tell somebody, I can look at them right in their eyes and say, do business with me. No one is going to take care of you and reach your goal that you want to reach better than I will to help you get there. I mean, if I'm not saying that to you, who's going to say it? And I'm a big fan of people getting their real estate license. I think there's so many things that you can do because people use people that they trust. And when they know, you know, that you're going to take good care of them. So I don't have a lot of other careers to compare it to. And it's the same thing with speaking. You know, I've got to be confident enough and to be able to say to somebody, if you have me speak to your crew, they're going to increase their market share. They're going to do better at their job. They're going to treat their coworkers better if you have me come speak to your company. If we don't have this confidence, we're spinning our wheels. So there's just a number of things, but so I'm sure that.
Yeah, no, I love that. Love it. I'm huge on visualizing too. I always say it. My screen on my phone is my, you know, I read this every morning.
Board,
Yep. So I love it. And actually, it leads to another question I would love to hear. What's your daily success routine that you have? Like, what's some stuff, or maybe it's a morning routine, evening, whatever it is that you think keeps you going and takes you to that next level? And what are some of the stuff that you do?
So the majority, I'd say 30 some years of my business career, I'd start out every morning going to a gym, and not just to work out, because if you
what time?
I go at 5 a.m.
Man,
because if you talk to people that saw me at the gym, they'd say he doesn't work out. He's just there. I just talk to everybody. Look at my guns. You know, Smith and Wesson. I watch too much Anchorman. But I want to tell you why I'd go at 5 a.m. to the gym. Who's there?
Nobody.
Well, but then
Van's there.
Top.
Well, the serious people?
But that's a good answer. But that's a good answer. But the other answer I'm looking for is
the Vans of the world.
It's your movers and shakers. You're not going to find any slackers at a gym at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You're just not. And so I'm communicating with CEOs.
That is genius, and I've never thought of that.
It's part of being frugal.
Wow.
Decision makers. That was my biggest reason for going to the gym at 5 a.m. because I am surrounding myself around movers and shakers. These are the people that, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That is literally one of the smartest and most insightful things that I've heard anybody say on this podcast.
Yeah.
Because
Well, thanks, Dan.
you heard
I say a lot of pretty.
you heard
I see how it is.
because
No.
it's blowing me away because we hear that all the time. It's a
Yeah.
very common theme, and typically for people, it's more of the discipline of getting up that early.
Yeah.
But I've never you're right. You're totally right. The people that are there, I'm definitely not there at 5 a.m. But I'm about to start.
Yeah.
So it's like the people that are there are, like you said, the decision makers,
Yes.
the movers and shakers. They're the people that you want to be around, that you want to talk to. That I just
You're exactly right.
blew my
now.
mind, literally.
You're exactly right. Now, I was annoying, okay? And if you ask my late mother, greatest lady on the planet, she'd say I'm super annoying. But it was all good. But so I would be in the gym, and I would be in the locker room, and somebody would maybe ask me a question like, hey, I saw you have a sign over in 1268 Jackson Street. What's that going for? I literally would take 5 or 6 steps backwards because I wanted more people to hear my answer. And I'd say, oh man, 1265 Jackson Street is 139.9.
I love
It is
that.
the best opportunity out there. I said, if you want more information, I wanted everybody to know. And I want to tell you something. I paid for my gym membership times 100
Oh yeah.
because everybody used me. They just did.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to use? So my message here is people want to do business with people that are excited about what they do for a living. They just do. So you've got to be able to. So anyway, that's how I start out my day. Now, there's been a curveball. April 26, 2019, I became a father of a 2-month-old puppy.
Oh man.
I became a
Forever
father.
toddler.
Which you wrote a book about.
I did. Just to be fair, because I know my daughter is going to watch and hear this because she loves this stuff. She's 33, so I became a father with her. So yes,
Kudos to that too.
I'm your dad. But I got my first dog 2.5 years ago. So now I struggle going to the gym because when I get up in the morning, I want to play with my pup, with my little dog.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I'll get back to going at that time again. But so I get my joy in the morning by
love
spending,
it.
and plus I don't want to leave him,
Yeah.
And so anyway, so my routine has changed a little bit as I've gotten older.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And so you're big on visualizing. When does that happen? Is it a daily thing or is it?
Is no set time. I want to back up to one other thing when I was talking about going to the gym. You got to have that mindset all day long. If you're trying to get to a goal and you're trying to reach goals, your whole day has to be that mindset that you had. I went to the gym because I want to be around like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think about that when you're going to lunch. There's a time and place for your friends.
Yeah.
Utilize every minute where it's productive.
I love that.
I know it sounds brutal, but we're not talking to people that want to be average.
Yeah.
People aren't
Yeah.
people that are listening to your podcast are not people that are saying, I want to be average. So these are the things that you do. You don't just go to lunch for the heck of it. You go to a purpose. Everything has got to be purposeful for where you're trying to head.
I love that. So, with my mindset, it's like, if you want to get, and especially actually, if we could talk about goal setting,
Yeah.
I watched your video, by the way, of goal setting that you did, which is around this time. This episode will air towards the end of January, but
Beautiful.
so it's still early in the year for the goals. So we'll talk about goal setting right now.
Goal
but
setting has no shelf life. The shelf life is forever.
love it, love it. And I just wanted to throw it out there that I always tell people, it's like, okay, let's say that you want to do this massive action. Well, you need to back up, and it all starts with your daily routine, right? That daily routine is what's going to get you a better week. Then a better week will become a better month, and so forth, and what to where you could get to that life that you want. And it starts with that daily. So I love all the stuff you just brought up right now. But can you talk a little? Go ahead.
No, that's perfect segue into this.
Yeah, and that was my next question. If you could give us some tips on goal setting and just goal setting overall?
Well, what does
important
goal
is it?
setting look like for someone like you?
Yeah.
You so
I
successful. at this
still,
point.
my life would be boring as heck without purpose and goals. I I'm gonna be setting goals and expect the best out of me until the good Lord takes me home, or else I'm gonna live a boring life. And so, I think goals has a shelf life forever. It doesn't have to be December. For me, I love December because I try to plan out my next year, but you can do it any day, any time, any month. But backing up to what you asked me earlier about visualization, just a real quick answer. I visualize all the time. If there's something that I want to accomplish, I'm visualizing what that picture looks like, and then I'm putting it on paper so I can look at it that way too. So just to answer that, and I'm a praying man. I love to pray, and I pray wherever I'm at, and not just at night. I don't pray for material things. I pray for God to give me the ability that He already gave me, and to utilize it, not let it sit there. I don't want to have talent, whatever talent I have, not being used. So as far as goals go, a lot of people get overwhelmed because they want all this. They have all these big dreams. And to me, a dream is a prelude to reality. If you're dreaming this, if you're visualizing this, it's going to happen. It's going to happen if you want it bad enough. Now, you visualized it, you dreamed it, now you got to take the necessary steps. So let's use just a figure of $100,000. Let's just say that you want to make $100,000 a year, which is a lot of money. So now let's break it down. That's $8,333 a month. That's $1,633 something dollars a week. That's $250 a day or whatever. You break it down to hourly. You break down $100,000, break it all the way down to hourly. So then you say, if I'm going to lunch with Mikey and we're just going to do nothing for 2 hours, how much is that costing me? So then all of a sudden, you're looking at things like, it's costing me money being here. You know what I mean? You're looking at things, and then let's say that you're knocking it down and you're ahead of yourself. Reward yourself. Go to that 2-hour lunch. But it's time. You have to look at your time. Goals and time go together. But I really believe, like, you have a vision board, and I really believe in touching it, feeling it, and seeing it, because it works.
The craziest thing is when you see what you have on there come to life. That's the craziest thing, and it works weird. Like it's mysterious how it comes up. Like it's so crazy. Even
law of attraction, man. We talk about it all the
Yeah,
time.
it's law. It is. It's manifesting. It's like when I met you guys, I knew there's a connection.
Yeah,
immediately.
It's crazy because I felt the same way.
And like that second, I said, yes, there's a connection here.
Yeah, that's so true.
I want to spend time with these guys. So.
I love that. Love it.
Yeah. But here's the thing is, there's really nothing that we as human beings aren't geared to be able to do. We can do anything we want to do. Now, have you heard me one time during this podcast saying it's going to be easy?
No.
It's far from easy. Mm-hmm. Anything worth it. Now, as you get older, as you've done repetition, worked your tail off, put those hours in, put the time in, it gets easier. It gets a lot easier. You got to learn from your mistakes. You can't be afraid to own up to your mistakes, admit your mistakes, and not just your victories, but learn from your failures.
I love that. Love it. And Van, to one question I would love to hear, you wake up tomorrow and your bank account is at negative $10. Yep. That's how much money you have. What's your first step? What's your action?
I am going to find something I have to do that's going to produce income. It's going to be work. If I woke up tomorrow and didn't have anything to eat, of course I would probably go get a job waiting tables. That way I can go take food back in the closet and close the door and eat. But no, I'm a worker. I'm a worker. Mm-hmm. I'm a survivor. I'm not afraid to work. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people, I can't tell you, I'm comfortable saying I've had thousands of agents in front of me saying they want to get in real estate, say they want to do it. And I've seen this big hat, no cattle. I'm going to make $1 million this year, but I'm not going to sell one thing. I'm going to get a team of people to do it for me. Great. You're going to be a great coach because you can tell them you've done nothing. Mm-hmm. So I really believe in the ditch. I believe in getting in the ditch, getting your hands dirty, working your tail off, and watch what that happens Watch what that manifests in your life. We all want to be around hard workers. You know why? To me, hard workers and trust go together. I trust a hard worker.
Makes sense.
That's
You just mentioned coach a little bit, and we know you do coaching and speaking engagements. Can you speak to a little bit like what your coaching looks like and what type of people are you coaching?
So I coach anybody that's in sales or service. I even have some of my friends have me, I don't call it coaching, but have them mentor their kids on life, and which is a big honor for me when people call me and say, hey, will you talk to my kid? And I've had some very influential people in Omaha that have asked me to do that for their kids. But I want to be, just like in real estate, I wanted to stand out in a crowd like we did. I did the same way in coaching. A lot of people that are in coaching have never been there and done that, but they've got a certificate that they went to a 6-month coaching course. Not for me. I want, so my kind of coaching is I don't want to put people in a long contract. Because, I've met too many people saying, gosh, I wish I would have found you. I've got 10 months left of my contract. I do a 1-month agreement. I have a fee. I sit one-on-one with them in front of them for 1 hour. And then the cool thing is they get me the whole month. So I just had a coaching, my first time with this client. We just met. We did our one-on-one hour. And he's probably texted me or called me a half dozen times since. So my coaching is, it's the one-on-one for 1 hour a month, or we could do 2 hours and I have a fee for 3 hours in person. But they get me, hey, I'm going on a big appointment. What would you do? Or I just had this happen. This is a big challenge. What would So I'm available for them the entire time.
How important is coaching?
It's really important. I mean, if I would have had coaching when I was starting out, probably would have been a game changer. I don't regret not having it because I learn better when I make mistakes. But I think today, having to me, a coach is a mentor.
Yep.
And I'm more of a mentor, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But the people that are going to have me coach them have got to have already made a decision that they want to be really good at what they do.
I love that.
I coach people. I've got one of my clients is one of the top real estate agents in Phoenix, Arizona. One of my clients is the number one commercial agent in Omaha, Nebraska. I want people that say, I want to be awesome. Help me.
I love that. Love it. Yeah, because that's something even that I think I'm gonna start doing. Just because you could change people's lives, one by one. And
you lead by example.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to lead by example. If a lot of times if the companies are failing, because I do a lot of consulting with companies, it's amazing. 10 out of 10 times when it's usually the top.
Yeah.
Everything starts at the top. People don't quit their companies; they quit their managers.
Yep. I am a firm my last job I worked really hard to kind of get up to the level where I could actually manage people and be a leader. And I never quite really did get there, but then at my current job, they gave me that opportunity. And I just love the actual day-to-day work sucks. I hate doing all the technical stuff. Yeah. But the leadership portion, the relationships and just developing people, I love it. And I think
because you're making a difference in other people's lives.
And you can see the difference in people, and it's just really amazing when you can actually see that. And so I see why, Billy, you want to get into coaching. I mean, you were saying somebody just called him today just to talk to him.
Yeah, I've had people. Yeah, I was just telling them. Somebody called me like, "Hey, man, I haven't talked to you for a couple weeks, man. I just needed to hear your positivity." And it's stuff like that. I think working off of this book, I'll probably put a program together and hopefully
I'm going to send you my program.
Oh man,
I'm going to send you what I do, and then you'll like anything when I'm training people. Don't do exactly what I do if you don't want to, but this is just a base.
Yeah.
Because I know when people give me stuff, I go, wow, this works great for you. Wouldn't work for me, but I am going to take some of these ideas. But I will give you what I
appreciate it. Yeah.
Because you may like
looking forward to it. For sure. Yeah. And we'll talk about a little bit more on that.
Because you'd be a great coach.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Both of you would.
Should be good. Yeah, no, we were just talking off air right now how you feel like this is just a conversation, and that's really how this podcast started. I told Dan, I'm like, dude, I've been wanting to do a podcast, and then all of a sudden he had a logo, and he took that action, and it's like, man, here we are. And I always tell people, it's like a lot of the conversations that I have with people that we would love to have on the podcast, it's like, dude, we could be recording right now.
Yeah, a lot of times, yeah.
So, but I hate to wrap things up. We gotta go. It's
He's gotta
time.
go.
Yeah,
we can stay here all night.
We can stay here all night. There you go. Part 2 for sure. We would love it. So at the end of our podcast, we always like to ask the last. There's 3 questions that we ask all our guests. And the first one that I would like to ask, and it's for wisdom, basically. If you were to look back at your younger self, what would be a piece of advice you would tell yourself?
Buy more land.
Okay. That's the first, yeah.
No, I tell you what, I would have, we don't have enough time. I would have probably read more.
Mm.
I would have probably read more books about what successful people do.
Love that. I love that
Yeah,
answer.
that was really
That's
good,
a great answer.
Yeah.
Love it. And this question, so earlier I asked you to give somebody that's starting from zero, they have nothing, but it's kind of similar to it. But if there's a 3-step formula just in general overall, what are the 3 steps to success?
Well, first of all, I believe that you don't have to be great to get started. You just have to get started to be great. So everybody likes to work with people that are respectful. And one of the first things you have to learn is, how can I be a really respectful person that people are going to notice me? Returning calls immediately, texts, emails, whatever it is, be that respectful person. Go out of your way to be the bright spot. Try to always be the bright spot and make people feel like they matter. And I use Mary Kay Ash. I've been using her what she does with her people, Mary Kay Cosmetics, $1 billion company. She always said, pretend everybody you meet, and you've heard me say this, pretend everybody you meet has a sign around their neck that says, make me feel important. I've loved that my whole life. So always find a way to make that person feel important and show them respect. And then the last one would be to make sure that you're always being positive. Anybody can be negative. Anybody can say, I'd be doing better if it wasn't cold outside. Well, you know what? That doesn't take a genius to say that. Always
I love that.
always be known as the person that makes positive statements. You want people to know you as respectful, you care about them, they matter, and that you're a positive person.
I love that. That's a great answer.
Mind blown like 4 times today.
For real? That's a great, awesome answer. And then you have like 4 books out, right? But one of the questions we ask, and maybe it's something that you've been thinking, because you're writing more, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is, and you don't have to give us a title, but if you don't mind giving us a title and just the theme of your next book.
So I was working on my 5th book when I got my dog. And then I changed up, I stopped everything, and I wrote a book about joy. And that's my dog, Baxter. And all my books you can get at vandeeb.com.
There we go.
2-day shipping. So I stopped writing the book I was working on, which I'm going to pick back up, and it's about branding. Because everything I've done in my life is I've branded myself as I'm the guy. And I know how to help people brand themselves as the person, whether it be real estate investors, whether it be realtors, whether it be anybody that's in any sales or service industry. I can help them brand themselves as the person to go to.
And that's one thing that on your speaking that I gathered was how important branding is. If you could touch on that real quick, since we're in the subject.
And then my other book's going to be called Billy and Dan's Big Adventure.
There you go.
All right.
We're in it.
But no, everything is branding. Giving, like I did with Dan, giving your card out. You don't keep what you do a secret. You should be letting everybody know. I'll take your property off your hands without having to go through all the crap you go through. You know what I mean? If there's something you're passionate about, you've got to let everybody know. And so that you're the guy. I've always wanted people to say, that's the real estate professional in Omaha. I wanted to brand myself that I'm the person that people can trust. And there's a lot of things that go into that. I mean, there's a ton of things that go into branding, and that's what this book is going to produce.
I love that.
And we can make a whole podcast about it.
Yeah.
Well, we were at a meetup this last week, and there was a young man that came up to us, and he like recognized us from the podcast. He says, "Hey, you know, you guys doing cool stuff," and he's listening to us, and he's like, "Do you guys have any pointers for me just starting out?" And that was what we told him, like, tell everybody.
Yeah.
Like because he I think was wholesaling. I think is what he was doing.
And he's like
But
20.
he's like 20, 21, super young, and I'm just like, tell everybody you know, everybody come across what you're doing. And you're going to see things are just going to come your way. So I love that.
And bringing it back to the beginning of this podcast, frugality.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how much money you're saving by using your God-given ability to produce words.
Yeah.
I mean, tell people. It doesn't cost anything to get out there and tell people.
So true.
Yeah. So last question for us. Second last. Is there anything that of value that our listeners can bring to you right now that you're looking for in either your businesses or?
You know, if you want to sell your house,
There you go.
There you go.
we've been recognized. Big Omaha Realty is my company. I opened 11 years ago as the best real estate website around for buyers and sellers to go navigate and go see what's out there and be notified when your property comes up that you're looking for and the parameters. And I love to speak. Anybody in your audience that knows somebody that wants a workshop speaker, a lunch speaker, a keynote speaker, whatever. I've done it all, and I love to speak and then coach. But I'm grateful you asked me.
Yeah.
And they can find me at vandeeb.com. It'd be very unusual.
That was our next question. Where can people find you?
Yeah, vandeeb.com, bigomaharealty.com. I used to say I'm in the phone book, and then people looked at me like, what the heck's a phone book? But so that's how old-fashioned I am. But I'm very responsive. I will, my cell number is 402-680-8448. My email's van@vandeeb.com.
That's the first time we got a cell phone. There we go. Yeah.
I love that.
Yep. I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, so no calls after 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, he's at the gym at 5 in the morning.
I am kidding.
No, I love that. And you're on Instagram, Facebook too. So
all that stuff.
make sure you guys follow him.
Yeah, please. I'm LinkedIn, all that stuff. Follow my news.
I'll link it all too.
Oh, yeah. And I want to tell you the big thing they're going to get of value is I write a really killer motivational newsletter. I've been doing it for like 12 years every month. And it's for people that want more and they want to live a great life. They're short.
You had me at.
Yeah.
It's on your website?
Yeah. They just go to vandeeb.com and sign up for my free monthly newsletter. I don't use your email address. I'm not even sure how to find it. But you get a newsletter every month, and you can go back and look at my last 10 years of them. But those really, I have people tell me that they really get a lot out of those.
Love it.
Damn.
Well, I hate to leave, but we have to.
Thank you so much for
have to
having
go
us.
home,
You
but
guys
we gotta
are
get out of
awesome.
here.
I'm really grateful for both of you.
Well,
No,
we're honored
thank
to
you,
have
yeah.
had you on. Thank you for having us out
This
here.
was amazing, especially, like I said, to start the year off right. So anybody out there listening, make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Minority Report Podcast, for the minority of 3% action takers. Don't forget that. Make sure you guys subscribe to anywhere. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on
Google.
Spotify. I mean, we're everywhere. Yep. He's
out the
grabbing the
book.
book.
Check out the book.
Power of Being Uncomfortable. Grab your copy now. Actually, again, once this airs, it'll
be
officially be out. This is out January 3rd. So by the time you guys listen to this podcast, it is officially out. Walmart.com. Target.com, everywhere. But make sure you guys also follow us on Instagram, the Minority Report Podcast. And let's get it, baby. Vamonos.
My hand to please don't segregate. Dress in a suit, I can't relate. Minority Report, can't ignore. Being rich from poor and your credit score. My hand to please don't segregate. Dress in a suit, I can't relate. Minority Report, can't ignore. Being